What is up, everybody? How is everybody doing today? And welcome back to another Clash Mini video on the channel. I do apologize that this video is just slightly a little bit rushed. We didn't have much time to get this going, but what I did was I brought in Abdude the Dude to go over these balance changes that are going to be coming into the game May 4th. Abdude, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for bringing me on the channel. I believe this is my first time here.
I think it is.
That sounds great. First time for everything.
Yeah,
Let's get going.
absolutely. All right, so let's just jump right into these changes here. We're going to be going over the balance changes. We're going to be going over the heroes first. And the first hero that we see is a Barbarian King, and it is going to get nerfed. The third ability, when the HP drops to 1, becomes invulnerable for 1 second, once per round from 2 seconds. So this is pretty much a 1 second just straight nerf to the invulnerability shield. What do you think about this, Abdude?
Okay, so I think that is an absolutely great change. It was very much needed. The Barbarian King was already too strong. What I'm a little bit kind of upset with is that they should have, also prioritized fixing the double shield on the mirror Barbarian King.
Yeah, I do agree that the double shield with the Barbarian King is a little bit overpowering, and especially because it's able to heal when it gets shielded, it seems like it always has another, let's just say, 8 more HP than any other mirrored unit. And on top of that, the supers that it does, and it's very, very hard to contain. I do like the invulnerability shield dropping just straight a 1 second drop here to the invulnerability shield. I think it might need another 0.5 seconds, but we're going to see how this works out. I think it's one of the strongest tanks in the game by far, which is kind of crazy because it's also a huge damage booster to your entire army. I think it just does too many good things inside of the current game, and it definitely continues to gain nerfed, or it's going to need to continually be nerfed until it gets into a good spot. I think this is a good change, and we are in the right direction. Next hero we have up is the Nature Born. The first ability, the Ear Form, is going to be plus 4 HP from plus 3. Then the level 4 is going to be plus 4 from plus C. So pretty much overall, this is going to be a 2 HP buff to the Deer Form of Nature Born, which is already pretty tanky as well. But the most important change here is going to be the third ability. They fixed the bug regarding the level 3 and level 4 upgrades. So now the Nature Born Deer Form works correctly. Abdu, what do you think about this change?
I think this is a pretty huge change. Not only did they fix the bug, but they also added 2 HP. We might start seeing a new archetype with the Deer Form, similar to how we see Nature Born Ewiz as the human form, which is always a pretty exciting thing to see, like a new type of decks going around.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the Nature Born is definitely in an awkward spot. I think she's pretty good in her human form, especially being able to give energy to the Electro Wizard. But the issue that you have with the Nature Born is that you really struggle early on in the rounds and you really get punished. Maybe now with this Deer Form, you might be able to steal a win in rounds 1 or 2, and that could definitely help you out inside of a Clash Mini match. But right now, the weaknesses of the Nature Born are just very, very strong and very, very prevalent. I think the extra 2 HP to the Deer Form plus the Deer Form getting fixed might make the Deer Form viable and might actually help the Nature Born be able to stay in the meta and at least compete with other heroes. Next up, we have the Royal Champion. The Royal Champion's base attack speed is getting increased to 0.8 from 0.7. What do you think about this change, Abdude?
So I think the Royal Champion might have already been kind of strong, but like with the current meta, it kind of like does not favor the Royal Champion. So like, for example, BK2 Elixir So we might see like a Royal Champion becoming too strong with the nerf of BK and with this little buff. But also, I might be wrong. It could be still like a perfectly balanced hero. We'll have to see how it plays.
Yeah, I think the Royal Champion definitely is in a awkward spot. It's at the point where it could be overpowered and broken. It could be way too weak, but right now it's in that like awkward kind of too weak section. But a little bit of a tweak here to the Royal Champion, as you said, could put it over the top. We're definitely going to have to continue to see what happens here with this little bit of a buff, because I think we all remember when the World Champion was on top, that shield was absolutely massive. And the shield is now stronger than it was back in the day. I think now with the Barbarian King really being the Achilles heel to the Royal Champion, continually getting nerfed, I think the Royal Champion is definitely going to see some play. But all right, let's move over to the minis now, as we have minis getting nerfed as well in this update coming May 4th. Let's just jump right into it. The Archer here, base attack speed getting reduced to 0.5 from 0.6. What do you think about this change?
Thank God. Like, it was so needed. And I think it might not also be enough, because like the Archer is so strong. And let's probably like slightly nerf her and see how it plays out. Better than killing the card entirely. I mean the mini, not the card.
Yeah, I think this is an interesting nerf for the Archer. I definitely think it's a lot. I definitely think coupled with the Barbarian King getting a nerf really hurts the Barbarian King 2 Elixir deck. And I think they want to keep the Archer and the Barbarian King together, which is why they're choosing to just reduce her attack speed. The only issue I have with this is the more attack speed you take away from the Archer, the more unreliable she's going to be in any other deck besides a Barbarian King deck, and then it kind of becomes a one-trick pony mini, and that's kind of like one of those, is that really what we want to do? Maybe that is what they're trying to plan to do. I know they want to use combos with, heroes and minis, but we're definitely going to need more minis inside of the game for this to be a super viable thing to do. All right, we're going to move on to the next one here. Barbarian's base ability rage is going to only be able to stack from 10. It's only going to stack 10 times now from 15. What do you think about this change?
I feel like it is justified. The Barbarian has been way too strong lately. So I'm pretty cool with this change. It's probably a much needed nerf for the Barbarian King 2 Elixir.
Yeah, this change is awkward for me. I think I don't like it. And the reason why I don't like it is because of the same reason why I don't really like the Archer nerf, is because it really is going to hamper the Barbarian King 2 Elixir deck for sure, but it's also going to hurt the Barbarian in other decks as well. So now with this nerf, it's really going to hurt other decks where you're going to see the Archer in play coupled with the Barbarian. So now with other heroes, I think it makes it very, very weak and almost unplayable now to play the Archer or the Barbarian in any other deck other than Barbarian King. I might be wrong, but honestly, I don't think I'm wrong here on this one. The Barbarian is very, very good at 3 stars, but it really takes 3 stars for the Barbarian to shine, and you really never get that unless you get an Elixir Pump. This change, I mean, I like it because the Barbarian King 2 Elixir deck as a whole needs to get nerfed, so I do like that. But as far as the Barbarian King Barbarian as a mini, I do not like it. Valkyrie is going to be next up here. The third upgrade, attacks reduce healing by 66% from 2 seconds, and that's from 75%. And then we also have the Wizard, the second upgrade. Fireball reduces enemy healing by 66% for 2 seconds from 75%. So pretty much what they did is they took the heal cut and they said, we're not going to make it 75% anymore. We're going to put it down to 66%. What do you think about this healing reduction?
Okay, so I kind of do not like this change because, well, technically it's a good change, but paired with the, after update 6, now if you hit a battle healer with the block, and she receives 0 damage, she would still get energy and she would still be able to heal. So that means like when there's a block, the wizard would be dealing 0 damage and would also be giving her energy, and she would also like still heal. So it kind of like will probably get us in a situation where the wizard would not be able to out damage the heal, which kind of kills him as a heal counter completely.
Yeah, I honestly think the only reason why this changes here is because they want to see Shield Maiden come back into the meta, and the only real viable decks with Shield Maiden are heal Shield Maiden decks. And currently with the 75% heal cut, it just doesn't make it fun when you're playing versus that and you're playing with a Shield Maiden. There's just too much damage inside of the game right now, and the anti-heal is too strong. I personally really like this change, but I feel like it's directed only towards one deck, which is once again one of those awkward, you're changing a, let's just say, an ability or a feature of the game to make a hero viable. And yes, that's okay now, and I feel like just because we don't have that many heroes inside of the game and minis as well, that this is a good change for that. I think going forward they need to figure out how to make the Shield Maiden deck more viable, instead of just reducing the heal cut. But you know, overall I do like the change for right now because it is going to help out those Shield Maiden players that are struggling very heavily. All right, we're going to move over here to the Fisherman. The Fisherman is getting his Clash. No longer stops most Clash abilities depending on different positions and skills. His Clash ability is considered as a force move and not a silence. So pretty much what's happening here is it's no longer going to silence enemies, so I'm pretty sure it's not going to silence, you know, like a Spear Goblin before the Spear Goblin's able to shoot and everything like that. I think it's going to kind of nerf the Fisherman into oblivion, but what are your thoughts here, Abdud?
Yeah, so we have not really like been given information on how that would work specifically, so there is like a chance that the Spear would go normally, or there's a chance like that Spear would go in a different lane. So like, let's say you hooked up a Spear Goblin in the middle into like another side, and then the Spear would not go on the middle side. It's still like tricky, and I'm kind of excited to see how it works and test out all the interactions once they balance up their drops.
All right, we're going to be going on to the next mini here, and that is going to be the Mega Knight. Mega Knight is going to get a base HP increased to 22 from 20, and the base attack speed is getting decreased to 0.45 from 0.5. So pretty much a 2 HP buff to the Mega Knight, and its attack speed is getting reduced, but honestly, nobody plays the Mega Knight for damage. So Abdud, what do you think about this change?
So the extra HP is great. That's more survivability. The base attack speed decreasing is not necessarily a problem because of the DPS, but it is a problem because the super loop for him is going to be longer. So he's going to be more likely to be stuck in an attack animation than jumping while his energy is full. So it is a little bit of a problem, but I kind of like the direction of more HP, more survivability, and less frequent supers.
Yeah, I think the less frequent supers are definitely something that I personally would want. But at the end of the day, Mega Knight is just in an awkward spot where it's one of the minis that could take over the game. And right now, we need tanks in the game. I feel like range damage and stuns and everything like that are just way too strong inside of Clash Mini. I know Mega Knight does stuns as well, but I feel like the Mega Knight needs to be a more tanky troop inside of the game if it is going to have that allure of the most HP inside of Clash Mini. All right, here we go. Next up, we're going to have the Bowler here. The first upgrade, +3 damage from +2 on the strike. What do you think about this upgrade?
I think it was needed. Most of the time, the bowler does not take out the backline threat in time, so that results in him being killed, or sometimes results in his damage being out-healed. So I feel like a little extra damage is like a good idea.
Yeah, I think honestly it needed the extra damage. I think it going back to a super definitely slowed down its power from just that instant clash ability. I think the bowler has been in an awkward spot ever since it lost its clash without upgrading, but I think the bowler definitely needed a little bit more damage. I feel like the stun was overpowering, but it definitely needs a little bit of extra damage, and that is what it is getting here. All right, now we're going to be going over to the Gizmos. Available Gizmos will rotate every week with 3 different Gizmos starting from May 8th, while Pocket Artillery is currently suspended due to a bug. So every single week you are going to choose from 3 Gizmos that you are going to get. So pretty much what does that mean? That means that every single week there's only going to be 3 Gizmos that you're going to be able to play with. Every single person knows the Gizmos that you are going to have before you queue up into the match. So decks could be made around that. You're definitely going to see that coming into the meta, and it might actually make this game a lot more interesting as that happens. But let's just jump right here to the King Tower and the War Toot, because this video is getting a little long. King Tower, deal additional 20% damage based on the target Gizmo's HP. If you didn't know how the King Tower works, the King Tower does some damage to the Gizmo. I think it does 2 damage to the Gizmo, and then it does 25% of the Gizmo's HP. So let's just say the Gizmo has 20 HP. It would be doing right now 25%, so it would be doing 7 damage to the Gizmo every single shot. And then you have the War Toot here, gain 40% attack speed from 30%. That's going to be a huge buff to the War Toot. Abdude, what do you think about these Gizmo changes?
King Tower was justified. I cannot complain about that. The Wartooth one is crazy. Wartooth is like one of the most versatile gizmos, and it's pretty useful. And I find myself picking it so much times. So seeing a buff on it is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I think the buff on the War Toot definitely made the War Toot absolutely, huge, but I think it needed a buff, honestly. I think it was just way too weak considering, what it does. And I think it definitely needed a buff, but is 10% going to be too much? We're going to find out. But, there's only one way to find out if War Toot 40% attack speed is going to be too much. And the King Tower, I definitely think it needed a little bit of a buff, nerf as well, because, it just did way too much damage. But this is the end of the video. This video took forever. If you guys are interested in watching Abdude, we're going to be posting a description, a link to his channel, so you definitely want to check that out. But Abdude, thank you so much for coming on to the channel.
No worries, man. Thanks for having me in.
All right. Thank everybody for watching this YouTube video. I love each and every single one of you guys, and I will see you guys later for my next video.